1% of our population joins the military, yet over 50% of suicides are carried out by our heroes. It is time to find a way to help those who served our country. I challenge you to join us on February 22nd for our 22-hour podcast, Community Mission to Serve Our Veterans. Tell your story, introduce your solutions, inform us about jobs, homes, or other opportunities to show your support to our veterans. Donate or sponsor. Use the QR code above and prove you're ready to make a difference. Make a commitment to the community mission to serve our veterans. Good Monday morning to everyone. How's it going? I guess it's Monday afternoon, but hey, it's morning somewhere, even though it's Tuesday morning in the places where it's morning. Okay, so hey, good Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning to everyone. We are literally hours away from the 22-hour podcast. The QR code you see in the corner is the QR code that you can go to for all the channel information, for a reduced cost for a sponsorship. We're dropping the prices because we're coming down to the wire. And from this point on, any penny made is going to the causes. So please jump on the QR code above and make sure that you support us. You can see behind me many of the wonderful items, the Yeti, the backpack, the books, not the Megadeth beer. I'm sorry, that's mine. You can't have my Megadeth beer. I'm not sure if you would want it by now. I think that stuff is like 6-7 years old. So I'm not even sure how good it would be now, but it's mine anyway. You can't have it. The gift certificate from the wine, the cast iron skillets, all of this stuff is for you to bid on when you go on to the QR code, and it'll take you to our Just Butter page. Today's episode, I get to sit down with a person who I was talking to, or I met at an event, who had such a fascinating story. And I knew that we just had to get him on because his topic is something a little bit different than we're used to. Parents, please make sure that if you have young ones around, you maybe pause this and replay it when they're no longer in the room. There are some very, very adult situations in this. It's not too terribly bad, but we just don't want this repeated. Had a great time recording this with Vincent, and I think that there are some fantastic topics and information in here about a young man who struggled with insecurities and depression. So without further ado, I would like to bring you Mr. Vincent Hazenboom and our conversation. I will be back after this recording and we will talk just briefly about community mission to serve our veterans. Very excited. And just as a warning, this conversation is going to have a very, very adult nature. But in my mind, and Vincent, I'm pretty sure that you would agree with this too. This is definitely something that even parents need to hear, because young adolescent kids, this could be something that does affect them. But I'm being joined by a new acquaintance and a pretty good friend of mine, Vincent Hazenboom. Vince, how's it going?
I'm doing good. What about you, Jack?
Uh,
Zach?
doing good, doing good. Like I was telling you a minute ago, trying to get everything set up the uh, for the event this week and getting everything going. So a little scrambled brain, but not much different than usual. So, but Vincent, why don't you get started by telling us a little bit about your journey, a little bit about your story, um, and how did everything that you're doing and how to heart, how did it begin?
Well, when I was younger, I was afraid of everything. So everything scared me, from girls to going out to do the things that I wanted to do. And that manifested for me for many, many years. I stayed at home for many, many years. I started playing video games. I started playing, consuming porn addiction. And it got worse and worse and worse. And I got stuck. I got so stuck that I got so afraid that I didn't do anything. And my life was just like that every day, watching pornography and playing video games. And there was a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety to do those things. I never been taught how to overcome my fears or to interact in the world. I was still a baby, even though I was an adult. I felt like a kid and I didn't know how to interact with the world. So eventually, when I think I was in 2020 or 2014, I was playing a video game and eventually I got a message from my higher self that gave me the message that I need to quit gaming. And I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, where's this coming from? But that feeling was so strong and so vivid that I put my controller down and I felt I need to do something about this. This is not okay. I've been spending almost my entire life playing video games and not doing anything. So I felt I had to make a change. So the next couple of days I told my parents like, "Hey, I need to make a change because this is not okay. I cannot keep on going like this." And they were a bit like flabbergasted that I told them that. But they said, "Yeah, if you need help, you need help." So then I went to see a doctor. I explained my situation, and he sent me to a therapist. And she was really my angel because she asked me, like, "Hey, what do you do with your life?" And I looked at her and just started to cry. I was just like, I told her that I cannot say anything about my life. I'm not doing anything. I just having this awful life and I'm not doing anything. And then when I was just grabbing my thoughts and everything, she said, "Vincent, don't worry. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna send you to a group therapy instead of giving me meds that really saved me." She said, "I'm gonna send you to a group therapy, and from there, my world started to open. Everything started to shift because I've learned more about myself, but also the backpack that I was carrying with the traumas, the pain, anxieties. But the downfall was once I started to learn about myself and I started to consume books, I started to consume coaching and all these programs, that became my fixation. My belief was if I learn as much as I can, I'm safe. I'm not gonna get in any more hurt or pain or anything. But I didn't take any action, and it got worse and worse and worse. And still, I wanted to do so many things, but still, I go back into my shell. Just, oh, before I'm gonna talk with this girl, first I'm gonna read this book about pickup or about how to overcome my fear. If I want to start a business opportunity, first I'm gonna read all these books because then I'm prepared. But I didn't take any action, and I took on process longer, 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 until I reached this point where I was like, I was ready to do something. So that was a weird side of me that I wanted to explore, but only when I felt the right time or when I felt this is a big opportunity to live my life. So that's what I did. I started to go to different places to on vacation, and then I ended up in Mexico, and I fell so in love with Mexico. I was like, wow, this is my place. This is where I want to be. So eventually I got a contact with a Mexican guy, and he had a proposal for me, and he said, "Yo, Vincent, how about we work together? You're gonna invest with me, and gonna start a fast food restaurant." And I thought was, wow, this is a golden opportunity. I don't have a job. I saved a lot of money, so why not? So in 2017, I sold everything and I left everything here in the Netherlands, and I moved to Mexico to build my dream life. That was my idea and that was my vision that I had. But once we started to start going more into the process, I was really like I had this tunnel vision. This
Mm-hmm.
needed to work. I wanted to make this work, but there were a lot of red flags. This guy, he was just telling me how to do things, and nothing was happening. And we're searching for a place to start a business for a year, and I was just putting so much money, and I was getting worse and worse and worse. I was losing money, and he was just buying things, and I wasn't saying no. I was not doing anything about it. I just let it run its course. So eventually in 2018, I got bankrupt. I just didn't have anything. And it didn't hit me until I just broke down, because I also had an ex girlfriend there. She supported me there, also with a lot of drama and trauma. But I just didn't realize. I couldn't believe and accept that I lost everything. So eventually I just crumbled. I just couldn't handle the pressure anymore. And I called my parents and I said, like, I need to come home. I don't have anything. So luckily they paid the ticket for me and my ex-girlfriend to go back to the Netherlands. And from there I just need to process everything. I was so in my ego that I thought I can do everything. I did so much self-development. I did so much book reading. I thought I could have done it all. But life showed me like, no, Vincent, you're not ready for this. You need to go back to basic and go back to the roots and learn again. So that's what I did. But it was also another side because of my ex girlfriend. She was also coming with me to the Netherlands, but we had a lot of problems. We had a lot of conflicts and drama. And eventually she put me so much pressure that to get married with me, I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't take it anymore. But because I didn't have any courage to end it with her in her face, I just texted her like, hey, this is done. I cannot take this anymore. So I cut the connections with her. But Zach, to be honest, that was the hardest thing that I had to do, I think, for my entire life, to break up with her, because I loved her so much. I cared so much about her, but I felt it wasn't right. I felt just closed up. Our relationship was so toxic, and I feel like this is not okay. But then the a lot of things changed for me, because I was so upset. I was so angry for a while, because I was thinking, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Why I had this dream and now it collapsed. Now I cannot do it anymore. But I was blaming her. I was blaming her for the relationship breakup. I was so angry with her. I didn't look at myself. And then also with the Mexican guy, I was looking at his. He did this wrong. He spent my money. Oh, yada yada yada. But I didn't go back to myself. And then eventually it hit me. I put the mirror in front of me and I said, "It's my own fault. I'm the majority of the problems that I was causing it because I didn't say no to him. I didn't say no to her. I just let everything go out of control. So I didn't have any. I gave all the responsibilities away, and from there, I started to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I started to go to learn, understand myself. I need to learn to love myself. I need to learn to set boundaries. I need to learn to say no because people were walking over me. People were using and taking advantage of me. So I just learned these small steps, and from there I really start to learn and grow. And then I went back to myself, like, what can I do with this? What can I do with the knowledge and the things that I went through? So the first thing that came to me is coaching. I wanted to be a life coach because what
Hmm.
I've learned, but I felt like that I felt I was put in a box. I just gonna talk with people about the problems. I'm gonna help them, but it wasn't really me. I wanted to live life and also do what I want. So then I come with e-commerce online. I wanted to do that as well. It was really cool and fun, but still wasn't really my thing. And then the network marketing came on my path and was like, okay, this is really cool. I can have a product and I can help people with it and I can generate an income. So I can be more I have more freedom. So eventually I was talking with this lady. She's called Robin O'Donovan. And she said, Vincent, we started talking, said, what do you really want? What is really your passion? I was like, yeah, I really like to talk. I like to educate. And people were telling me about podcasting. You should do that. But I told her, like, I really like also the network marketing because it gives you an opportunity to be free. And she said, why don't you do both? I was like, okay, yeah, this is really, really interesting because then I can do both what I like to do. And from there, my podcast started to unfold there. But I was searching, like, what can I talk about? What can I do? So I go back to myself and back to my life. And what I saw is there's so many men struggling. So many men don't know what to do. They're confused. They have a lot of anxiety. They don't know how to sort things out. And I felt like I need to do something about this. I need to put my knowledge in there and talk about this because I've been there. I see what other men are doing right now. I've been there. I see men struggling with addiction, with drinking, with drugs. I've been there. I wasn't so intense, but I've been there. So I felt I wanted to make the change, and I've learned also about hidden agendas, about the world and everything. So I felt I had to do something about it and share what I've known or what I've learned as well, and put it out there for men to help and change their lives. But the name was really hard because I was thinking, what name can I do and how can I make something really unique? And then again with Robin O'Donovan, we were talking, and she said, like, I really like this part. What you show me now is also the golden heart. And she asked me in Dutch, like, what do you name in what kind of names do you like in Dutch? And I told her the gouden heart, the golden heart. She's like, what? How to heart? I was like, oh yeah, this is the name. So that's how the name is born, out of confusion. And what I've learned is go to back to myself. I feel like, is this correct? Does this fit me? And I sit for the name for a while. I spoke it up for a couple of times, and that's how the podcast is born. So this is, yeah, I've talked a lot about my journey, but that's how my journey started and how the podcast started to unfold.
Vincent, I think one of the things in which I've got a lot of things that I'd like to unfold with that, but one of the things that I love about the ending part of the story and the name how to heart, how you said, oh, excuse me, it was born out of confusion.
Yes.
I think there's such a wonderful message there that it's so neat because look, starting from the very beginning of your story to the very end, there is a lot of confusion there. And there's a lot, and to find the right outlet, you had to learn how to maybe realize that there's no way to get rid of the confusion, but manage the confusion, or maintain the confusion. So I love that part. um the the differences in, like, the United States and where you're at in Europe, stuff like the pornography and stuff like that, it's more accepted where you're at, or are there pretty buttoned down rules with it? Because I know a lot of places, there's a lot of sensuality out there that's just accepted and widely available.
Yeah, well, I think it's worldwide, and it's all accepted because we let it accepting it. There's children, they start from the age of 12 and 13, they started watching porn, and they get so messed up, their brains get so messed up, and they get so wired to the addiction, and they think, oh, so this is how I need to have sex with women, to
Hmm.
how what they see on the screen. So they have this false reality how to talk with women and how to look at them and talk and approach them and have sex with them. But it's like me, I was watching every single day. I was masturbating every single day because I felt there was safe. There was safety. And talking with women, it was so terrifying because of traumas, because of rejection. But it was all in the mind. And I created all these pathways to porn. So once I was talking with a girl and she rejected me, I go back to porn because it's safe. It wasn't nurturing me. It was a place for me to go back to when something happened to me. So that's also what you see nowadays with pornography, and I think a lot of parents, they don't realize or they don't think about it because I've done it too when I was younger. So it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's really dangerous. It can what I've seen in a lot of documentaries that it can progress in worse and worse and worse from something really soft to hardcore. And once they meet a woman, they say like, and they want to have sex, they go to the aggressive pornography because they think, okay, if I do this with my girlfriend, she's gonna like it. But it's not, and there's no connection. So we only going through lust instead of building the connection. That was for me too. I wanted to sleep with women because I wanted to feel that emptiness that was lacking. I didn't care about the connection. I only wanted to be satisfied. So I went also with the pickup and everything. So, but it didn't work because I felt something in my heart was wrong. I feel like this is not okay. So yeah, my message is really like be careful with pornography. It can really damage you because I've been hooked on it for years and years and years, and I've been trying for years and years to quit, and it's difficult and it can mess up your life. So be really careful with that.
And the gaming, um was there a level of bullying that kind of put you behind a keyboard, put you behind a
Yes.
controller? And did you do a lot of communicating with other people through the gaming system, or were you
Yeah.
single gamer?
First, I did single. I was really like in the adventure games and doing these puzzles or get this sword or finish this quest. But once the internet came and the online gaming came, I didn't care about online gaming. And I was like, well, I just wanted to try online gaming, and boom, I was hooked. The first time that I played an online shooter, hooked. I played every single day. I was waking up at 6, 7 a.m. and I was playing until 11 p.m. And I just kept on doing this for years and years and years. So yeah, that was also the dopamine hit. It was the intensity, the community, the teams. It was really cool, but I was wasting my life. I was spending my precious hours and hours on video games, and I will never get that back.
you do you think that that being able to communicate with people behind a headset and through a TV or computer, how bad do you think that was, or how bad do you think that was for like communication skills? You know, you're able to talk to somebody, but you're talking to somebody about a fantasy world. You're not talking to them about the real world. How difficult was that for you to realize when you started trying to climb out of that shell?
Yeah, very difficult because when you talk about your headphones and somebody rages, somebody got angry, you just press mute and it's gone. But if you have somebody in front of you and they rage or they get angry, you get this intense anxiety. You feel this fear, this rage, so you want to avoid it. So that was for me really hard for me to talk with actual people. I didn't have the social skill because I was playing video games, so I had to learn the skills, because now I've been talking like easy with you. But if you knew me like in the beginning, I wouldn't talk. I was really quiet. I was really to myself. But also, I learned that I'm an introvert, and I saw it as a bad thing. But it's a powerful way to be an introvert. But again, it's safe. It's safe to communicate behind your computer. It's safe. Also, what you see with social media, people like talk about, oh, I don't like your dress, and oh, I always like complaining. But when you talk to them face to face, there's so much difference. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy to be to talking behind your computer. It's easy be to talking trash behind your phone. But in real life, we don't do it. We have this mask on and we pretend that somebody that we're not.
You can
But
create who you are.
yeah,
You can be you can be Vincent the invincible rather than Vincent the the you know the scared and shy person, right? You could
yeah.
create a personality that you were somebody completely different.
Yeah, it's what I've learned is it's a skill set. It's with everything. How to talk with somebody. It's a skill set. If you want to be a good communicator or a good speaker, you have to learn the skill set. It's with video games as well. In the beginning, you're a bad gamer, but if you do it more and more and more, you're gonna get better. And that's with everything. It's also with me with the podcasting. I was really bad. I was so scared to be behind the camera and feel confident because what if people think about me? But once I do it more, I get more the confidence. I build more the confidence. I learn more about the podcasting. I talk with people. I build my network. It's also really difficult, especially when you're introverted and shy. But it opened doors. And that's what I've learned over the years. Once you're gonna build connection with people, also with you now with Zach, it's gonna open doors because you can help each other. And that's what I really see with people that were so focused on getting each other, just fighting each other instead of working together and helping each other. And that's so sad because you're losing the opportunity to build something and connect and make something happen. So yeah, that's really important to build skill sets.
When you finally stepped out of your own four walls that you created, when you finally started getting out there and started meeting people, what was the toughest thing that you had to overcome?
Be in social circumstances, so talking with people, that was the biggest struggle, because what you said, it was the limiting belief that I had over myself. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel accepted by society because I'm also a black sheep, if I can say it like that. I think different than the majority of the people. Not that I'm better, but I think different. But I felt really closed out of it because of my way of thinking. But still, I had to learn to talk with people, and it was really difficult for me to go on the same level as people, because I was here thinking here and people were thinking here. So I had to go back down to be on the same level. And once I was talking with them, I go back up. but really to feel like with the right people, that was hard. And especially tell people like, well, you're a nice person, but I don't really connect with you. This was so difficult because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. But again, I had to learn to do that because I need to set boundaries, because if you're not, you're gonna have so many people in your life, but some people ask you for money, some people ask you to do stuff for you, some people will take advantage of you. And I
Hmm.
didn't want to go through that again, because I've learned in my past experiences in my life, it's gonna bring pain and misery and anxiety and stress. So I don't want to do that. So for me, that was the most difficult thing, was for me to go back and be grounded as who I am today, and talk about what I feel. That's what my show is like. How to heart. I want to talk from the heart. If I don't agree with you, I can say that to you, like, hey, I don't agree what you're saying. But we don't have to go into a big argue or fighting, but at least say how I feel, and yeah, express myself. So that was the biggest for me, to make the change, to really get out of my shell and show like, hey, this is me, and you have to accept who I am.
Um, we've we've got a dear friend who's come on, and she ended up pregnant as a young, well, still as a child, and her her only option, because she was also from a different country, her only option in their culture was to marry this guy and become a wife, and that's not what her dream was. Exactly what you just said. She had to learn to say, I got to put you in this box over here, because what you're asking me to do is not my life. You're asking me to live somebody else's life. This isn't the life that I wanted. This is the life that you chose. So congratulations on that, brother. Look, man, it's it's a really tough road. I do have one thing that I want to disagree with you with, though, and that's if you play video games over and over again, you get good at them. Man, I've been playing video games not every day, but I've been playing video games for a long damn time, and I still suck at the things. but but it's still not something I'm good at. I know that my sons hated playing video games with me because they were like, Dad, what is so hard about this? And I'm like, man, in my day, there was a joystick and one button. There wasn't, you have to right click, left click, do all this other stuff. It was one button and a joystick, and I couldn't manage that. So, um, what what do you what do you think about like the business opportunities now? Are you looking to try to do it again? Are you afraid of getting into another situation when it comes to business because of what happened before? Or are you looking forward to another challenge with someone else?
The thing that I've learned is a really good question. The thing that I've learned is to, because once I started with him, I asked for contracts,
Hmm.
and he said like, no, no contracts. You just rely on me. My father's this and this and that. I was like, okay, I trust you because I'm just in a foreign country. I just come here to start a business. I didn't have any education or anything, so I just follow his lead. But what I've really learned is to always set up a contract when you make a deal with somebody, even though it's your best friend in the whole wide world. Is it your parents, your sister, your brother? Make a contract, because people, when they go into a tough situation or they feel like the pressure is getting on, people will change. So always set up a contract. So that's what I would do if I worked with somebody new. Have a contract.
Yeah.
But it's a learning experiences. I talk with many people and said like, I would never do that, but I'm happy that did, because I've learned from it, I've experienced it, and I wouldn't regret it. It's better to do something that you regret, that and better than do something that you don't want to do, and regret it later because of fear. And I've learned, but it's really the gut feeling, because I was just, some things didn't feel right, and I just ignored my own feeling. I just ignored my gut feeling that telling me like, Vincent, this is not gonna work. I've been warned by so many people like, Vincent, don't do it, you need to stop. And I just ignore them because of the tunnel vision. So that's also a really good tip. Just listen to other people, but still follow your instinct, even though if it goes against their will. If you go on your face, you go on your face. But I would take it slow. And also, I've invested all my money. I saved up like 30K, and I went there with I think 20 or 15K, and I got back with 300 euros because of not saying no and just getting it out of my hand. So I would be smarter, and also look at the investment and also the return of investment. What will you get out of it? So that's the reason that I also want to do the podcasting for myself right now, because then I have control of what I'm going to do. And if I hire somebody to do the things for me, set up a contract so you don't have any problems and confusion. Because yeah, you go through so much stress because of not doing the things. But yeah, now it's, there's so many things that I really like, but focus on one things first before you're gonna explore the rest. Because I in the beginning was like, yeah, this is cool, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. But focus on one thing, because then you can take the time and you can learn, and you can get better at it slowly, step by step, instead of just going to this. Because if you do the first thing and you get, for some reason you don't want to do it anymore, then you go back and you jump back to the new thing and you go back. And that's what you see with people. When they start something, they don't finish because they lack the consistency. They think they're gonna be rich overnight, but it takes time. But you have to do something that's really close to your heart, that you want to do every single day. So there's a lot of opportunities, but yeah, I really enjoyed what I'm doing right now.
And I think the best lesson that you can try to teach somebody is something that you had to learn yourself, is that
Yeah.
you made you made mistakes with this, and you knew that you were, that you probably weren't making the best decisions in the world. But if it weren't for those mistakes, you wouldn't be where you are now. And it's okay to
Yep.
make mistakes. Making mistakes is part of life. We're all going to make them, and you know what, we're going to make a mistake every day. That's just what we do. That there's no way to get around it. We're built to make mistakes, but those mistakes are learning opportunities, and how you react from those mistakes is the best lessons in the world. you know Continuing to
Yeah,
make that mistake over and over again for years and years and years, that's not a good idea. But if you
exactly.
can learn a lesson and take and move on from there, it's a great way to. I built a nonprofit that, well, I was starting to build a nonprofit that ended up going in a completely different way than I wanted it to go, and it ended up becoming a huge problem. And I ended up walking away from that, and that's when I built Community Pay It Forward, because what I wanted, which was huge, became something that was really shriveled up and condensed. And so I turned that mistake, which damn near killed me, my friend, damn near killed me. I was so depressed. I was so angry. I was just mad. But I
Yeah,
turned that into this, which is even bigger. And like you said, this is more, this is a me. This all encompasses me, and this is what I love to do. So again, congratulations on that. What is your relationship with people now? Are you still very tentative around them, or are you able to walk up to people and start conversations just on the fly?
no, I still have my struggles, especially with women. And also because of that, I had to go to therapy, because every time I wanted to walk up to a woman that I'm attracted to, I felt so much anxiety, so much fear, that I was just shaking and nailed to the ground. So that's what I'm doing right now. And also I got EMDR. That was really, really intense, but it really helped me with my traumas and understand myself. But I was in so much fear also with the toxic relationship that I had, that I was scared of getting hurt again. I was afraid of feeling those emotions, going through the drama, and relive that. But again, if you want to get something out of life, I need to do it. I need to talk with people. I need to talk with women if I want to have a partner in my life. It's not gonna women is gonna knock on my door like, hey, let's go on a date. I need to do it. There's also, yeah, as a man, we have to take action and get what we want. Not aggressive, but after your desires, what you want in your heart. But it was always a challenge. It was also really difficult, but it also goes back to the trauma, the things that I've experienced, the breakups that I had, that I really need to let go of it and just do it. And it's really funny that you say this, because I've listened to a book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, by Susan Jefferson, I think was her name. And she said, like, fear will always be there. You will always feel fear. If you overcome something, for example, for me, if I want to talk with women, I will overcome that fear. But then a new fear will come, and then I need to overcome that. And once I get level up, there will always be fear. So I have to learn to start talking with people, even though I'm not in the mood to talk. I still just have a small conversation, and you will grow and you will get better. So that's my focus. Even though I'm afraid to have a conversation or talk with women that I'm attracted to, just take those small steps and don't put your bar so high from I want to be a Casanova from tomorrow, but take those small steps. So that's the thing. I've been always working on myself. The things that I'm lacking, the things that I want to achieve, I'm always finding ways. I'm always looking for opportunities to get better. If it's through coaching or podcasting or meeting people on a cruise or with podcasters, whatever, I'm always looking for ways. I always try to overcome my fears. And maybe it's not tomorrow, but I will do it. And that's how you grow.
The our bodies, our bodies have that built-in fear. Um, have fear built in, and I was listening to a doctor on a podcast just the other day, and he made something that made a lot of sense to me, and I didn't ever think about it like this, but our bodies are there to feel that fear. It's like when you walk into the jungle, you can say, I need to be careful, there could be a tiger in here that eats me, rather than walking in there without the fear and say, I don't give a damn if there's a tiger in there or not. You know, the fear is going to make you be a little more cautious and watch your step and do things and
Exactly.
teach you that lesson on how to do things that you can accept and you can build on, rather than just taking and puffing your chest out and, like you said, the Casanova thing. I'm going to be Casanova tomorrow. I'm not just going to walk into a jungle and go, hey, tiger, F you. You're not going to do it. And next thing I know, I'm kitty food. So, but yeah, when that doctor was talking about the benefits of fear, I never really thought of it that way. I mean, we've all got things that we're afraid of, and the way that you put it is just reminded me of that, because it is so true. How do you look at women that's different now than, once again, when you first allowed yourself out of your own little four walls, your own little jail?
I saw them really as scary creatures. I always
Yeah.
saw them as like danger. But it's like you said, I was so connected to my trauma of getting hurt that I saw or my body, it was not really me, because in my head I knew, like, there's nothing to be afraid of. If she says no, I can walk away and that's done.
Hmm.
But my body, it was stored the trauma, it was storing me, or the trauma in my body. So every time I wanted to walk with a woman, even though I was thinking about her, even though she wasn't in my vision, even though I was thinking about it, my body was in lockdown. I couldn't move. Even though I'm talking about it now, I feel now my legs just don't want to move. So that's how powerful our bodies are, and that's what you said with the fear. The body and the mind is trying to keep us safe, because we need to find a mate and bear children. That's how our mind and body is designed, to keep us safe. But now we live in a modern age that there's no tiger, there's no berries that we eat that we're gonna die from, or tigers run around close to us. But the mind is still in that programming. So every time we see something that we're afraid of, the body's like, no, the mind's like, no, don't do it. It's dangerous. But I was also the talk that I was telling myself, like women are dangerous, they're gonna hurt me. So I was putting this toxic talk to myself. My lingo was so toxic that I didn't that I keep myself in that way safe in that way. But also then I didn't have to take the risk. I didn't have to take the risk to go out and talk with women. So I saw every woman as a possible danger, and some are more wilder, and some women are more like different and closer, or they're more playful. But I didn't want to experience it because I felt every time I wanted to go out, I feel like fear. My body was always in fear, and also with the traumas, and that's what I realized also with the book. I have to go through it if I want to have a relationship. I have to start talking with women, and what you said is the difference between women. I've in my journey I've learned that I'm like-minded. So I will attract people like you or talk with people like you that I will attract. So I will talk with the women that is maybe I have a conversation casual, but I'm not feeling attracted to her. But I will talk with a business lady and I feel really attracted to her because of what she does. She do uh, uh, reading books. So I have a better click with her. So that's what I've learned, and that's what I really tune in. I learn to talk with women, but I'm not be willing to be attracted to everybody. I will also say like no, or I set my boundary and not go after lust because that's with porn. It's lust. It's go always for the quick fix instead of go on a date and have a nice chat, and then we'll see what's gonna happen. But I was so fixated on that instead of go back to myself and just see what's gonna happen. Let a bit of control loose because I was a control freak. I need to have control over women, over everybody. But I had to learn to let go of the control and just enjoy instead of just being afraid and stressed about things. Like I always tell myself, I've been stressing so much, I've been miserable so long. For what? I've been afraid for nothing. But it's like I said, the mind and the body and how we talk to ourselves, we keep ourselves safe for dangers that doesn't even exist.
I'm going to ask you a question that's a loaded question, so get ready for this one. All right, my friend.
Okay, okay.
This could be one that could be a little difficult, but I'm really interested in this. How
Shoot.
do you today feel about Vincent Hazenboom? How do you feel about him as a person today?
That's a really good question. Nobody really answered. You're actually the first person that asked me that question. This is a really good one. I will remember that one for my future guests. But if I can say it like in a way like I'm proud of Vincent because not everybody does what Vincent does. Everybody has their own path, but where I come from, don't forget this, or what you maybe don't realize is I was afraid of everything, everything. I didn't go out, I didn't go outside, I didn't do everything just to keep myself safe. But now I'm just here, I'm talking with you, I'm having this podcast, and I'm starting my own business. I slowly talking with women. I did the Wim Hof method, so the cold exposure. I went on the mountain with my shorts in the cold, just freezing -2, just climbing up the mountain. And again, it's not because I'm better than you, but it's because I wanted to do it. I felt that I can achieve more than I believed that I was. I always believed that I was this scared little boy that couldn't do anything. But look what I'm doing now. I'm sitting here talking with you. So I can do it. So that's what I'm most proud of what Vincent did. And I'm really happy that you remind me this, that I have so much potential inside of me. And I just put that on the side, like I cannot do it. It's too hard. No, it's not. I need to do it. Take feel the fear and do it anyway. I need to take those small steps. So that's what I always pat my back, and I did it. I'm still here, even though it was difficult, even though I had moments that I just said like, I'm done, not suicide, but really done. I cannot take this anymore. I just need to lock myself up and goodbye. But I kept going. I kept on going. I kept on fighting. Kept reminding, like, I know I'm here for a reason. I'm here to do something amazing and inspire other people and and show people that you can do it too, even though you have a hard time or life is hard. You have the power. You have the yeah. You have everything inside that you need. That's my biggest learning, that everything that I need is inside of me, and I was always putting it outside of myself, always looking to look for ways outside of myself. But the courage, the power, the belief, the knowing, the knowledge, it's all inside of me. But you have to dig it up or rush the diamond, brush it off. Like,
Right,
hey,
right.
look in the mirror, look what you have in front of you. That's what you really see with people, is like they brush themselves off like they're nothing. But look where you are today. Look how far you come, and where you can come, or where you can go if you just keep going. But people give up sometimes, and it's so sad because they will never see their full potential. And that's really my goal with my podcast, to show what you have inside. Even though I can be, for me, as I can be really open. I speak a lot about things, but I want to show people like, hey, it's okay to talk about those. It's okay who you are, and don't see yourself as a just a, or slave worker. You have so much more potential.
My co-hosts are driving me crazy today. My dog's jumping up on me, but
Yeah, I
um,
see. It's really cute.
yeah. How is your relationship now with your parents? Are they did they were they afraid of were they afraid of what you were going through, and how are they now?
They they had a lot of problems of accepting me as who I am. So I'm really universal. I talk about really things about porn and all of that. And it's like, why are you talking about this? It's like, yeah, I need to tell people. I need to tell them how I feel about it and how I think about those things. But I have an okay relationship. It's not the best, but it's good enough. And again, I'm here for myself. I'm not here to pleasure everyone or make everybody happy. I'm here for my life, so I do as best as I can, and they do the best that they can. Because also that I can blame them or I can blame other people, but they just who they are. So I cannot really blame them, and I cannot blame myself. It's I've learned from it, and that's how I grow. But yeah, I'm doing the best that I can. I wish there was maybe a better relationship, but it is what it is, and I cannot change it. But I really love my parents, and I'm really grateful for them. And yeah, I'm really lucky with that. And also, what I want to add is also what you said with mistakes. There are no mistakes. For me, when there's a mistake, I don't see it as a mistake. I see it as feedback. Always have this how that was for me my biggest shift, how I talk to myself. I didn't make mistakes. I get feedback on how to make the change. So yeah, it's also with my parents. If they tell me something, it's feedback. How can I improve? How can I change?
Yeah. Yeah, I like to tell people that, a mistake is accidentally putting cumin instead of putting cinnamon on your French toast. That's a mistake. It's a terrible tasting mistake, but it's a mistake, making a choice, even though it's a bad choice, that's not a mistake. It was a choice. You knew that, you knew deep down there was a problem with it, but you still made that choice. Live with it, learn from it. I like the feedback, get that feedback
Exactly.
from that choice and move on and make something else
Exactly.
of it. Hey, Vincent, this has been a great conversation, brother.
Absolutely.
I want to congratulate you on your growth, and I want to throw out the offer that, if you ever need to just talk, man, you know who to call. All right.
Appreciate.
I'm here, you
Appreciate.
know. I mean, look, we've all got a long road ahead, but I I really hope that you understand that you've got a support system because I'd like to see you continue. And like I said, it's not fun out there a lot of times for people who are, you know, I am definitely not an introvert. Okay, I'm a guy who puts myself out there probably a little too much, but I mean, it's not always easy for us as well. So just know that what
Yeah,
you're doing is great for yourself and awesome for other people, because there are people out there that right now need to hear your story and watch your successes.
yeah. Can I add something with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the thing that I've learned, my biggest lesson is that I'm not alone. I always
Right.
felt alone. I always felt that I had to go through this difficult situation alone. I had to go through my addiction alone. I had to go through facing my women alone. No, I can get help. I can gather people around me. And that's also what you see now with what's happening in the world. They want to create this friction between us. Of
Hmm.
we need to work together as one. We can achieve more things when we're together. So when you feel alone, you're not alone. You're telling yourself alone. So you're in this victim mode and you hope for people to knock on your door like, oh, do you need a warm blanket? No, you have the responsibility to take care of yourself and go out there and meet people that you can connect with and build something with. So you're not alone. You have more people around you than you think you are. And that was for me just mind blowing. Sometimes I talk with people, it's like, oh, you know him or you know her. It's like we live so close by. I didn't even know you were here. So that's the magic of it. That's also because we're human beings. We need the social connection. That's how we feel good. That's how we grow. So don't discard that. Don't push people on the side and just just don't think they're useless because everybody can teach you something, even though it's a mistake or it's feedback or something they tell you. Don't push them on the side. Just say like, okay, thank you for telling me, and do something with it. Because you see a lot of people get feedback, but they don't do anything, and they just keep themselves stuck. So, yeah, take the responsibility of what people might give you and do something with it, and you will grow. Yeah, and you need to. It's like you said. What you said is it's a choice. And that's what you will get. You get a choice to stay comfortable in your couch watching Netflix, or you have the choice, the opportunity to make something out of your life, even though it's if you want to work for a boss, that's fine. If you're happy with that, you need to do it. But if you feel something in your core, in your essence, that you want to do something to help more people, the environment, whatever you feel the calling to do that, because you're gonna help so many people. And even though with this podcast you might say something and people will tell you like, no, no, this is not for me, but there may be one person listening to this that can change their entire life, just what you're telling them. It's magical. And that's for me my biggest change, because once I started podcasting, I was focused on my own network. But then different people came to me like, ah, thank you so much for telling me this. I really like what you said. It's like, where did you come from? I'm you're not even connected to me on Facebook. So that's the power. And there's so much more about not that we don't know and that's been hiding for us. But just, yeah, do something with the potential. Please do something with the potential that you have.
Yeah, the irony is we all live on this tiny rock together.
Yeah.
All of us. We all live on this rock together. There's we don't have other people that are coming over from another rock that we know of yet. Okay. We're all on this same rock, and it's relatively very small compared to everything else out there. There's somebody out there that feels your pain. There's somebody out there that's struggling with what
Exactly.
you've struggled with. There's somebody out there that when they hear your story, it's going to click in their head. My God, this is what I'm looking for. Make sure you
Exactly.
keep, make sure you keep telling your story. Make sure you keep improving. And most important, Vincent, make sure that you keep being yourself, brother, because
Absolutely.
you're a good cat, man. I love this. I love this story. I loved being able to talk to you. So people
Thank
can
you.
get a hold of you by your website, which is www.howtoheartshow.com. That's
Yes.
www.howtoheartshow.com. Or you can go to his Facebook page, in which there are two Facebook pages out there. Check them both out. They've both got some great content. But your main Facebook page is facebook.com/Vincent dot has I knew I was going to do it. Hazenboom. Vincent
Yes.
dot Hazenboom. I almost did the Hazen. I almost put the America
Yeah,
sound in there. So
that's fine. That's fine.
but um but anyway, Vincent, brother, thank you so much for joining us on Footprints
Thank you.
Forward.
Thank you
Please
for having
feel
me.
free to join us anytime that you've got something to share. If you have any events coming up and we have any world
Absolutely.
travelers who would like to learn more.
Absolutely. Thank you for
So,
having me. It was a blast. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak because our messages are really, really important. Because, like I said,
very important.
we feel alone. And just by listening to somebody, you feel connected, even though you never saw him. I do a video podcast, but even though you listen to him, you feel the connection. It's like, this person talks exactly like me. How is this even possible? And that's the thing. We think well, what I've really saw when I was talking with people, people came from different places. People were talking. I've like men and women. They had similar trauma. They had similar problems, but they were
Mhm.
so far away from me. They were so different from me. They had different desires, different things, but we had the same connection of our stories, of our traumas, and that's how we connect. So that's the magic of it. That's why I love to do podcasting, because you learn from people and you can
Yeah,
express your lessons and learn, because that's how we grow, to learn from other people's stories and do it.
that's right. Implement and live. So,
Yeah.
but thank you, my friend. Thank you very much, and
Thank
I
you.
really hope that we get you on here again sometime soon.
Yeah,
So
I will return the favor. I will definitely want to have you on my show. So thank you, Zach.
that sounds great. Hey, I want to also remind everybody, and Vincent Hazenboom. I look. There were. I think the one thing that interview really shows us. Sorry about that. I turned off my microphone. I think the one thing that interview really shows us is as a group that not all unhappiness, not all mental issues are the same. What may not seem like a huge problem to you could very easily be a huge problem to me. And we need to be very well aware of that. I mean, look, anything can be used in excess. Um, I know for a fact that you can be a workaholic and that can cause real problems in your life. Where some people are going to sit there and say, oh, that's ridiculous. Just a hard worker is a hard worker. Not if it takes away from family time, not if you allow it to rule everything that you do. When Adrienne and I first got together, she said, you know what? You can work as hard as you want. You can work as hard as you want until I get off work. And you will not be working on the weekends. She told me this, and she said, if you're going to continue to think that you can work, 70 hours a week and not spend any time with me, I'm not going to move down or up from New Mexico. And kind of made me start thinking, and I was like going, that kind of makes sense. Of course, it made a lot of sense. I wasn't doing anything but working. That's all I was doing. Now, occasionally, there's something that happens, and I have to work past, the 6 o'clock hour or on the weekends. But that's okay. We compromise on that. Her being as big in the paranormal world, she's got times when she's not supposed to be working and talking to people, that she's on for, a couple hours because she's dealing with the health and happiness of other people. It just happens. We all serve people in our own ways. So, like I was trying to get to, the one thing that Vincent really showed us is that addictions, depression, fear comes in all different sizes. It's not just a one size fits all. I want to thank Vincent Hazenboom for joining us, being so strong and talking about something that, let's be honest, that cannot be an easy thing to talk about as he does. There's a huge taboo in what he was talking about. I love the way he was talking about with his parents. His mom and dad were sitting there going, well, I don't want to talk about this. I get it. I got one son that is very, very, very open about that. And a lot of times it's a joke. And I cannot get my tie to straighten up. And I'm sorry about fidgeting with it, but I'm just going to leave it for right now. So please excuse my, I guess it's like this. I can't even bend my head that way. But a lot of times it's a joke. But I mean, look, for other people, it's a real problem. Hey, guys and gals, I greatly appreciate you joining Footprints Forward this week. Vincent, thank you, brother. Thank you for being able to having the strength and talking to us about such a huge issue and letting us know that, look, this is a problem. Please remember that this Thursday, starting at 4 a.m. East. Well, I guess on the screen it looks like I'm pointing east, but I'm actually pointing west. So this is actual east, believe it or not. Out east, 4 a.m. Every time you come across us, watch for a couple minutes. Whatever social media you're on, tag us. And how do you tag someone? It's very simple. You put the @ and then you enter their name. So it's at, and then enter their name, and their name should pop up on your screen. Do that every hour for with 4 of your friends. Every hour, those names need to change up. You also need to every hour add a nonprofit. And I don't care if that nonprofit stays the same throughout the show. Every time you come on, you can enter once an hour for all 22 hours. Once an hour for all 22 hours. And if you do, you have a possibility to win a trip for 2 to Cancun. That's thanks to our great friends at Sharing the Credit. Doesn't Cancun sound nice? You could win a trip for 2 to Cancun thanks to our friends. Okay, I'm just going to stop this one because you can't even hear me, so that's not going to work. Let me try to find let me try to find another one and the other video. If not, you're going to see it plenty. You know what? I'll just say this. You're going to see it plenty this week, but remember, every time you put the @ symbol and enter a name, hit enter and tag somebody, do that 4 times per hour, and then 1 nonprofit per hour. If it's the same nonprofit, that's fine. It has to be different names every time. Help us share our word. I'm not trying to ask you to, I'm not trying to make things difficult. What I'm actually trying to do is make it to where people will see what we're doing. More people will be able to see the message we are sending, the stories we're telling. We have an absolutely amazing show this year. Starting with, very, very early with Sean, the Rev. He's going to come on. He's going to talk about, usually we talk about what happened when he was drinking and how it changed his life. And then I'm going to ask him to do something I've never done before. Take it, leave it, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to ask him to give us a prayer for the day. That we reach that one person who needs us on Thursday. I'd like to ask you a favor right now. No matter what your religion is, no matter what your faith is, no matter what it is, every day, at some point in time, give us a huge, I hope we can reach that one person today. If it's in our head, it's possible. If we forget our mission, people are going to slip through the cracks. Let's not let that happen. Thank you, Mr. Will Black, from Sharing the Credit. Nonprofits. Get a hold of Mr. Black because he's got a program with credit cards. Why let all that credit card money go to a bank when it can come to you. You heard me right. Instead of paying bank fees, you can get donations from your favorite outlets every time somebody swipes a credit card or a debit card. Let's be honest, who uses cash anymore? Oh, and you can't shop with cash on the internet. It's impossible to do. Contact Will at sharingthecredit.com, WILL at sharingthecredit.com. Will be joining me. Will be joining me. Will at 9:00 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Make sure if you're a nonprofit, you join us on that hour. I'm asking everyone, please dedicate 22 minutes to our 22 hours. You should be dedicating 22 minutes an hour. And that way you can be tagging 4 friends and 1 nonprofit every hour and winning a trip to Cancun. I know if I was eligible, I would do it. But I'm not eligible. I can't win. No, actually, I can win. Because you can tag somebody. We can have more eyes on what we're doing. And those eyes can save lives. And that's our mission. My name is Zach, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels, and community mission to serve our veterans. I want to say thank you. I want to remind you to please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. If you're not helping anyone, you're hurting everyone. So please remember, no one has to go it alone. When we all come together, folks, we're all we got. Let's take care of each other. Love you all. We'll see you next week right here on Footprints Forward. And please make sure you join me on Thursday for Community Mission to Rescue 22. If you have any questions, the QR code's the place to go, including all of the outlets you can watch us live on the 22nd.